We're going to cover lesson 7.6 today. We've already done lesson 7.6. This is a lesson that sort of sits in the middle of 7.6 and 7.7. And it's about arithmetic and geometric sequences. It's a quick lesson because it's all stuff we've covered before. Arithmetic sequences use this formula, y equals mx plus b. We know it as the linear formula or the linear equation. Geometric sequences use this formula, and we know it as the exponential function. Sequences, the reason why they're using that word, is a string of numbers. So it's not written in table form, but essentially it's a table starting with the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you're going to try and write one of these type of equations, you just need to take a step back and find out what might have been with 0 in that table. So first of all, arithmetic sequences always will add. Now, when we say add, you have to remember that I can say, I don't know, 7 minus 10, and I can add the opposite. So subtraction is going to look like adding at times, or how do I say this? Adding will look like subtraction, sorry. So there are times when you're going to look and say, oh, it is subtracting 10, or adding negative 10. So here, this one keeps adding 7. So does it have a common ratio? No, ratios are multiply, divide. So they would be here. These would be your common ratios. These are what are called a common difference. The space between each number is the same. That makes it arithmetic. Now this one, when you look at it, it's going to look to you that if you took 36 and you divided by 3, and 12 and you divided by 3, then you'd get 4. Well, technically, geometric sequences need to multiply by the same thing every time. These ones need to multiply. So divide 3 turns into divide by 3 in the fraction form. And so that's why the common ratio, what you multiply by, is 1/3. All right, so one more time we're going to talk about now, when I say you start at 0, we're going to talk about how to write those. All right. Oh, sorry. This, if you drew a line right here in your notes, arithmetic information's here, geometric information is right here. Divide by 4 would be like multiplying by 1/4. Use a fraction when it divides, just to give you some more clarification or another example. All right. Now, we've got our arithmetic rule and our geometric rule. This kind of splits down the middle here. We're going to do all of these questions for both. Okay? So arithmetic rule, this is what is called your common difference. This is what it adds or subtracts every time. This is the number that it starts with, the initial value. This is the 0th term, if you like. Where this is the first term, it's the first number in the list, you're going to go a kick forward and find the one that would be sitting here with the 0. This is that value of b. Now in this one, b is a different type of thing. So in this one, this is your initial term. This is the 0th term. It's the one that would sit before the first one. And this isn't like here. It's a different. And this is the number that you multiply or divide by. Pardon me. All right, so then this is your common ratio. It's the number that you multiply or divide by. Remember, if you're dividing, it's fraction. Okay, so if I have to write a rule, side note, that means write the equation. It does not mean, say, plus 7. So I would first want to figure out what is the common difference. What's happening every time? It looks to me like it is subtracting 3 or adding a negative 3. You can look at that however you want. So that as it goes this way, it's subtracting 3. So then as it goes this way, it would be adding 3, which would make this number a negative 9. Negative 9 minus 3 gives me negative 12, like that. So now, I'm going to write my rule and say this is my common difference. This is m. This is where it starts. That's b. 0th term. And common difference. So I write y equals negative 3x minus 9. You could say plus negative 9 if you want. Now when you have to find the 20th term, you plug in 20 for x and do the math. So you would say y equals negative 3 times 20 minus 9. And then your answer would just be what you get from that. When you start to do some of these geometric ones, you might see your answers go into scientific notation because you're repeatedly multiplying or dividing. Those numbers can get really, really big or really, really small, and the calculator has a tough time representing those longer digits, so it converts into scientific. So just a quick refresher, if you see something like E17, it means 1.8 then times 10 to the 17th. That's the exponent on your 10. All right. Now a geometric rule, remember, is going to multiply or divide, multiply by a fraction. Your 0th term in this case is the first thing you write down when you write your equation, and that's going to be sitting here. Your ratio is here, and that's going to be that change or that what it's doing every time. So my 0th term, first I need to figure this out. I noticed it goes negative, positive, negative, positive. Well, that means I must be multiplying by a negative number. That's what's changing the sign from negative to positive every time. Now, it looks like if I took the signs away and just looked at the numbers, it would be, you know, the absolute value of them, it would just be doubling every time. So this is times 2, but to change the signs, it's times negative 2. So that's going to be b in my equation. And if it multiplies by 2 this way, that would have to be 3, because 3 times negative 2 will give me negative 6. So if you work this way, it's multiplying. If you work that way, it would be divide. So I'm going to write my equation, y equals, or my rule, which is an equation, y equals 3 times negative 2 to the power of x. When I want to find the 20th term, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to plug in 20 where x is. So it becomes y equals 3 times negative 2 to the power of 20. That's not one I can do in my head so much, so I'm going to type that in. 3 times 2 to the power. Remember, you're looking for a key like this on the school calculators. It's kind of in this space over here. 20. And I get, and I don't show my, like here I showed my order of operations, partially because I was doing that in my head, but here I don't, because you're just writing a lot of really long numbers. I just type the whole thing in and write it out. 3, 1, 4, 5, 2, 8. So 3,145,728. That's it. When you do the geometric worksheet or this 7-6 part 2 worksheet, the first thing you'll notice is I accidentally titled it 7-2 part 2, so you'll want to change that in the worksheet to a 6. And do both sides. It's one of the worksheets I gave you space to work, so it's got space on both sides.